The prophet Habakkuk prophesied somewhere around 640 to 610 BC. Assyria had conquered the northern kingdom of Israel about 80 years before he started, and the southern kingdom of Judah, where Habakkuk was from, had actually seen a spiritual revival. But by the time Habakkuk came on the scene, it had degraded back down to being a wicked place. The rich were oppressing the poor, they were in control of the law courts, and there was no justice. Habakkuk's world was not a pretty place. The book of Habakkuk contains his discussion with God about this not-so-pretty place. Normally, in the prophets, we hear God speaking through the prophet to the people. But in this book we get to hear God and the prophet talk back and forth to each other, and twice in this short book Habakkuk asks God a question and God answers, and then in chapter 3 we get to read Habakkuk's response to God's two answers. The book of Habakkuk pictures a frustrated prophet, much like Jonah, though Habakkuk channeled his frustration into prayers and eventually praise to God, rather than trying to run from the Lord as Jonah did. In Islam, he is recognized as a prophet whose writings are interpreted as foretelling the coming of Muhammad and the revelation of the Quran. The book has 3 chapters. It is attributed to the prophet Habakkuk. Most scholars agree that the book was probably composed in the period during Jehoiakim's reign as king of Judah. Although his home is not identified, scholars conclude that Habakkuk lived in Jerusalem at the time he wrote his prophecy. Because the book of Habakkuk consists of 5 oracles about the Chaldeans, Babylonians, and the Chaldean rise to power is dated circa 612 BC, it is assumed he was active about that time, making him an early contemporary of Jeremiah and Zephaniah. Jewish sources, however, do not group him with those 2 prophets, who are often placed together, so it is possible that he was slightly earlier than these prophets. Because the final chapter of his book is a song, it is sometimes assumed that he was a member of the tribe of Levi, who served as musicians in Solomon's temple. A reference to the prophet Habakkuk appears in Bel and the Dragon, which is part of the Deuterocanonical additions to Daniel. Verses 33 to 39 place Habakkuk in Judea. After making some stew, he is instructed by an angel of the Lord to take the stew to Daniel, who is in the lion's den in Babylon. After Habakkuk proclaims that he is unaware of either the den or Babylon, the angel transports Habakkuk to the lion's den. Habakkuk gives Daniel the food to sustain him, and he is immediately taken back to his place for his own country. Habakkuk is also mentioned in the Lives of the Prophets, which also mentions his time in Babylon. The only work attributed to Habakkuk is the short biblical text which bears his name. The book of Habakkuk consists of the taunting riddle, which are 5 woes about the Chaldeans, Babylonians. Habakkuk's tomb is claimed by multiple sites, notably a traditional hillside location in northern Israel near Qadrim and a mausoleum in Tusakan, Iran. Currently, 1 location in Israel and 1 in Iran lay claim to being the burial site of the prophet. If you like my videos, please like and subscribe to my channel.